Cool. Yes, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Football Philosophy Podcast. This is episode 23, I believe. And with me today is yours truly, Trey and Nathan Best. Guys, welcome to the show. Did anybody watch the Prime Minister debate?
No. No. If it's anything to do with Tories,
All right,
I'll
then
stay away
that's
from it.
enough
Do you know what I mean?
politics.
Like, anything to do with Conservatives, I'll stay away from, man. I ain't watching that fucking bollocks, you know what I mean?
I agree with Vesty, man. I agree. He's 100%
I
right.
knew you guys would both say that, but you know what? Yeah, it's they're no different, either of them. You know, whoever wins. But all I care about is the 2024 elections, and I believe that if Liz Truss was to win, that she'll be a weaker opposition to the Labour Party. So I'm thinking, in the long term, it would be better if Liz Truss were to win in September to become a prime minister, because she's a joke. She's an absolute joke. She doesn't know what she's doing, and she would definitely lose to Sir Keir Starmer. I don't really like him, but I guess anything is better than the Tories. All right, guys. So let's get into the football. Nathan, Trey, what you guys saying about the football season so far? Or should I say the off season?
Oh, well, I thought this was going to be a politics debate. I was like geared up.
He was ready for it.
Obviously, the petrol prices are through the roof. Yeah, I'm just happy. It seems like normal service is like resuming. Do you know what I mean? Like the football's coming back. The football season starts tomorrow. Huddersfield, Burnley on the Friday night. Like EFL. Football's back next weekend after. Premier League's back, and then everything just life resumes and normality resumes, and it's great. So yeah, because I found it weird this summer having although it's international tournament year, not having an international tournament during the summer. It just felt really sort of like weird. But hey ho,
let me stop you there, Nathan. Before we get some complaints, there is a major international tournament going on, and we should say congrats to the international women, the England women's team.
Yeah, obviously.
Just to stop you there.
Yeah, obviously, like congrats to the England women's team. For what they do for the sport.
But I do get your point, though.
Yeah, well, obviously, women in football. Hopefully, this is a thing where like it actually kicks on now. Like they actually start implementing the fact that you could like teach football to young girls in schools and stuff like that. So you get the next generation coming through. Obviously,
did you watch the semis? Did anyone and either of you guys watch the semis?
I was at work during the semis, so I didn't have it on.
I have to say, honestly, that was the first game I've watched of women's game from the beginning to the end. Like, yeah, of any women's game ever. Like that was the first game. I never had any interest before. Maybe I've seen some World Cup games before when America beat the English team in the semis in France, I think it was, and she did that celebration of the tea, I don't know if it was marijuana or the tea. Yeah, but I mean, I have to say I was thoroughly impressed. Like I didn't expect that, and I don't mean that in a condescending way or anything like that. But I was thoroughly impressed with the fluidity that they were playing with, the strength that they actually had against the Swedish team, which a lot of people are actually saying, you know what, this is a team that's going to cause them some problems. And like you said, Nathan, I do hope that this is the kickstart that the women's team or the women's game in this country really needs. I hope that they get some deals, and these players actually become like household names in the English game. Yes, Nathan. Sorry, Trey, go on.
No, I was just waiting for you guys. I'm just listening to both your.
No, you're here to contribute, bro. Come on.
Yeah, no, of course. This is just a time where I agree with you both. The women's game is growing, and right now, I just definitely feel that if we need someone to sort of deliver that title that England needs, and I reckon the women can do it, man. It's going to be tough against Germany. The history with England and Germany is always going to be a massive one. But if anyone can win something for this country, let's put it down to the women, man. Hopefully they can deliver and bring some sort of peace to the country as well in terms of football achievements. So let's see what they can do. I'm excited.
Yeah, they played without any fear. They were so comfortable, and I just enjoyed it, honestly. 4-0 in the semis, and it's one of the nation favorites, favorite nations to win the tournament. Right, so guys, let's get into it. Before we start the topic of this podcast, which is to kind of predict what's going to happen in the season. We don't really know exactly how it's going to go down, but we each going to make our predictions, and then at the end of the season, we're going to look back at it and see how right I was and how wrong you guys were both. So
that's why we call you Mr.
but
Philosophy.
before we do that, let's just talk for like just maybe 5 minutes about the transfer window so far. There are some interesting deals happening. Things are moving really fast. So as far as Chelsea is concerned, they are holding a big fat L because they've lost Kunde, Rafinha, and Lewandowski all to Barcelona. What do you guys make of it?
Well, obviously, Barcelona managed to stretch their Santander student overdraft to 50, over 150 million, and I don't. In terms of Barcelona perspective, you sort of because there's still uncertainty on their situation in a few years' time on what's going to actually happen with them. It's a bit like. It's very sort of sticking a plaster on an axe wound sort of situation at the minute. They're signing all these new shiny things, everything's great, rather than sort of they're not looking towards what's maybe could happen in a few years' time. In terms of player quality, arguably you could make them possible favourites for La Liga right now, really, with the players they've been signing. Obviously, I know Real Madrid have signed likes of Tchouameni, but signing, I think they got Koundé for 45 million, and it's it's a pretty good deal when you see what the English clubs spend on centre backs. I'm not naming any particular English club in general who spends 80 million on a fridge from IKEA, but it's one of them. I think Chelsea, when we're talking about predictions and stuff like that, obviously they got Koulibaly in. They got. I think they might go back in for Ake and see whether they can explore a deal for there.
Just a bit of breaking news about Chelsea. Actually, they've just, I think, agreed a deal with Leicester's Wesley Fofana.
Fofana. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Leicester,
it makes sense, isn't it?
Yeah, it makes sense, but I think it's probably less proven, but got a lot to prove. If that makes sense, he's less proven than the likes of say.
I like Fofana a lot. I
like him. He's
less proven,
especially if he's playing with two very experienced centre halves in Koulibaly and Thiago Silva. I mean, he's solid,
Yeah,
done.
But yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully, United make some progress on the De Jong deal because that's sort of stalled at the minute. Although obviously they signed Martinez and Eriksen, and the rumor is that they've the number 21 shirt's free at the minute, innit? So everyone's sort of suggesting putting 2 and 2 together and getting 17, thinking that De Jong's going to take the 21.
I genuinely thought that Eriksen was going to wear the number 21 shirt because that's the number that he wore, I think, at Inter Milan and also in Brentford.
Yeah, but it is what it is. He's taking Lingard's shirt, isn't he? So.
Yeah, Eriksen. I mean, Lisandro Martinez also took Pogba's number. What did you make of that, Trey?
Well, the number 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a good person to take Pogba's number. I definitely feel that when you've got a player like Martinez, he looks hungry. He has that Argentinian grit. He's gonna definitely give it 150%. He knows the manager. He knows the system. He knows what's required. So he's definitely going to fight for the badge, and I think he's going to warrant more of an example to wearing that shirt. Whereas if you look at Pogba, as much as I love him, especially he's come from our academy, won the FA Youth Cup, and we've all got that sort of fairy tale story of Pogba, but he never loved the club, man. So I'd rather someone who, he wants to come to the club, he wants to win titles at the club. If he's going to wear that number with pride, I'm more than happy if it's going to be a player like Martinez, especially someone who's going to give it his all. Absolutely. So that could be an indication that is he going to play in midfield?
Well, if needed, yeah, you can definitely play that. But I think Erik ten Hag made it clear that he was going to be used as centre half. I just want to see him playing as centre back, and I want to see if United don't end up signing Frankie De Jong, then don't panic, don't try and go for crazy signings like Declan Rice and spend almost 200 million on him. I think just calm down, look at what you have in your squad. Look, I know McTominay and Fred are there, but if you look at James Garner, I do believe that he's a very, very good prospect, and if you give him a chance, he will shine. Okay, in terms of the summer signings so far for United, should we say obviously they've given up on signing Anthony? Should they be looking at someone like Jared Bowen?
No, because I think you're going to look at a similar price, to be honest. Because West Ham value right at about 150 million. Right. The next valuable asset would be Bowen, and Bowen obviously you have to consider Premier League club, English tax. It's going to be sort of Anthony levels, and the reason why Ajax bumped up their price for Anthony because they realise they've just lost Martinez. Ten Hag's going to think, I've got trust with the other Ajax lads there, so he's going to go back in.
What about if they push that aside and they say, you know what, let's go for Anthony next summer, maybe when Ajax will be more willing to sell. They're actually looking at a young centre forward at RB Leipzig, Sesko. I don't really know much about him. What do you guys make of him?
Yeah, in terms of Sesko, I've seen a few bits from him. He's quite a tall player, I believe, isn't it? And
yeah, he's very tall.
A lot of people are sort of comparing, not ability-wise, of course, but they're comparing his style similar to Haaland. He's just outright in terms of being direct as a striker. And right. if they get him in as a backup to, let's say, if we've got Martial, Rashford's going to be having these opportunities up front, I definitely believe. And if it looks like Ronaldo's going to potentially leave if that does happen, then I wouldn't mind, United having a Martial and a Seco, as the options as the strikers for now. And we're going to, I guarantee Rashford's going to be playing through the middle if we do lose Ronaldo, for example, and we don't, have the time to possibly get another player. But just going back to you guys' point about, if we miss out on Frankie De Jong, why are we not looking at, potential alternatives like a Tielemans, for example? Like, his contract is running out. Like, why can't we?
I wouldn't go Tielemans and that.
Tielemans is a similar player to Eriksen, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't go Tielemans in that holding role. I think if you're Ten Hag and you're looking at someone who's going to be playing out from deep, I don't think Tielemans is the guy. Tielemans is the guy sort of playing in the 8, close towards the 10. You got to be looking at say the likes of Neves, or say if you want an absolute destroyer in midfield, Ibrahima Sangare at PSG for 25 million
man.
release clause. You know what I mean?
Sangare, what happened? What's going on? I heard he's got 35 million euro release clause. What happened to that?
I think what's happening with United is that Erik ten Hag has basically put his stamp over all of the transfer targets. The likes of Pau Torres, Sangare, I don't know, maybe Frankie Kessie, all of these kind of players are players that Erik ten Hag probably just, park those ideas aside. Okay. I'm going to come in with the players that I think will suit my style. And if they don't sign some players this summer, he's more than happy to just, wait until the January window or the next transfer window. I think it's fine. I think it's fine the way it is.
I think it needs to actually have a balance, because if you look at United's transfer strategy over the last 10 years since Fergie, it's been very sort of erratic at times. So you're sort of happy that Ten Hag sort of taking control of it, going, right, I only want specific targets. I don't want plan B, C, or D, or E. I just want plan A. And that's all well and good. But then you also need to, this is where the sort of scouting department and department behind the scenes really needs to sort of really needs to be in place, because they need to be telling him, okay, yeah, we'll definitely try 100% to try and get these, but we're going to have a couple of these on the back burner that are a similar style of player, or or maybe not like maybe not ability wise, but similar to what you want, to sort of say, okay, if you don't get De Jong, go and get Neves, and the longer you leave it in the window for De Jong and you don't get him, when you're going for Neves on say like the day before the transfer window ends, Wolves going to be like, yeah, cool, we know how much you're going to pay for De Jong, we'll have that money. And then United are going to be like, oh, well, we don't think he's worth that much because he's our second choice. Do you know what I mean? So you're sort of, you're dicing it a bit with, like, you're risking it in terms of leaving it as late as you are, but it is.
Yeah, no, they do like to play these kind of risky, dangerous games, United. And you're right, it's all about the scouting department and, how prepared they are. Okay, let's get into the main part of this podcast, the main event, as we say in the boxing tray. Right, so the predictions this season. Let's start from your predictions in terms of the relegated teams. I think, Nathan, you suggested this idea, so let's start with you. Who are you predicting to get relegated? Let's maybe Newcastle United. Let's go.
Liverpool, Man City, and Leeds.
I would love that.
Joking, right? I've done my table earlier on, so I've got my bottom three as so I've got Bournemouth finishing last. I think this season with the relegated teams, there's sort of less to split the teams in general. It's like last year, it was sort of like Watford, Burnley, Norwich. They're a pretty easy sort of three to pick, maybe compared to what you have to pick from this season, if that makes sense. So I've gone Fulham, Brentford, and Bournemouth.
Brentford.
Brentford. Wow.
I think with Brentford, it might be a case where like I've not seen much of their transfer business, admittedly. So I'm going this based off like judgment and stuff like that. But it might be similar to a Sheffield United sort of situation where the second season really, people say, oh, the second season syndrome, this, that, and the other. It is an actual thing. This does happen. Norwich.
You know what? You could be up to something there. Yeah, go on.
Norwich stayed up in 11-12. They went down in 12-13. Sheffield United stayed up 19-20, went down to 20-21. This Brentford might sort of obviously they've lost Ericsson, which is a big sort of thing to lose. Obviously, Ivan Toney's also been constantly linked with a move away from the club. If they somehow end up losing him by the end of the window, that could really, really spell some trouble for them because he is the guy to bank on for the goals. I think with Bournemouth, it's a case of I think the teams coming up, despite Nottingham Forest getting the playoffs, I make them as the weakest team. Bournemouth, I think they're just one of those where, like, a bit like Watford and Norwich, they're just one of those where it's between divisions. And Fulham, with Fulham, I don't think it's down to personnel. I think it's down to the manager. Marco Silva's not exactly got a great track record in the Premier League. He got, I think he got relegated with Hull as well. He didn't particularly do well at Everton either. So, yeah, that's my bottom three. I've got Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth. But one team I think people should watch out for is Southampton. Because they have this thing, don't they, where, like, they start off well. They start reasonably well. You sort of think, 7th, 8th, good for Southampton. But when the form dips, it seriously, seriously dips. And it's like, you just think that one of these seasons, they're not going to start the brightest. They're going to be like lingering around mid-table, but then that mid-season form hits, and it's going to like potentially cost them. But I've got Fulham, Brentford, Bournemouth. So
I have to say, you know what? Yeah, I was a little bit surprised when you said about Brentford, but you know what? You've actually convinced me on this, and I do think that they're going to be in big, big, big trouble.
I can't change your predictions now. You can't.
I'll tell you who I had in my bottom three, but I think I'm gonna let Trey go next. But I am actually becoming more convinced about the idea of seeing Brentford. I think it could really happen. But yeah, go on. I think you guys, I do agree with you about Bournemouth and Fulham. That, but the third team that I have in my bottom three, you're gonna be shocked. And also I agree with you about Southampton because when they are bad, it is really bad. I mean, in Southampton, probably when it rains, it really pours. It's just terrible. You know, they will just go. They're the only team to have lost 9-0 to in consecutive seasons. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. So when they're bad, they're really bad, and you could be right. Like this could be the season. But then again, as long as they have ward prowls, just scoring free kicks like their penalties, I think they'll be all right.
All right. Bottom three. It's gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna throw a little bit of a twister on one of the teams on my list. So I've gone with Leeds. The reason why I've obviously gone with Leeds going down is because they've lost some crucial players in sort of Rafinha, and with them also losing their managers or Bielsa at some point, I definitely feel that the Leeds team right now, I don't think they've, in terms of what they've done in the market as well, in terms of replacing certain players, I don't think they've got the capability to obviously stay up this season. And I definitely agree with obviously Nathan. I'll put Bournemouth in that list and Fulham as well. I don't like Silva for me. He hasn't convinced me enough that he can do a job. And you know what? One also thing that we also need to look at as well. How do you guys feel about Everton spending 20 million on me?
Oh,
What
come
is going
on.
on there, man? What is going on there, man?
You know what? Yeah. Okay. Should I say my bottom three now?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it, bro.
Because my bottom three, one of them is Everton.
Yep.
I have them going down. Honestly, I know everything you guys said about Brentford, and also I know about Leeds, but I think we could get to a point where Everton, because they're gonna be so loyal to the idea of Frank Lampard. Like we're not talking about someone like Roy Hodgson, where you just get rid of him straight away, or Claudio Ranieri, or I don't know Marco Silva when he was in Everton, or just like any manager that they get rid of so easily in like January, February. But I honestly feel just because they have so much respect for Frank Lampard, that they're gonna wait until like maybe 8 games to go, like Newcastle did it back in 2008 when they hired Alan Shearer, and then they're gonna come back running with I don't know someone like Duncan Ferguson last minute to try and keep them up, and then just like Burnley did last season, sort of like I think in the last 7 games it's all gonna explode, and I think this is the season where we're gonna see Everton really go down because I look at the transfer window. Okay, 20 million on Dwight McNeil. I don't understand it. I really don't understand it. Someone tried to explain to me what the logic behind it is.
There's no logic, man.
Like what they just signed a left back the other day. I forgot his name. They've spent so much money on a left back from also in I think it was the left back from Ukraine just in the winter transfer window. And then they signed another left back, and now they also signed Dwight McNeil to play on the left side
Dwight
when they already have I don't
McNeil.
know
Yep.
players like Demari Gray, who's done very well for them last season. They
Yep.
still have Andrews Townsend on the other side, so it doesn't make any sense. And you look at the striking options, all they have now is Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Dele Alli. That unless they do something drastic, I just don't see the direction this club is heading. Honestly, when I look at a club that's actually much worse run than United, all I see is Everton. Honestly, that it's just all over the place. So I agree with you about Bournemouth and Fulham, but my third team to get relegated is going to be Everton. Leeds, very, very suspicious, but I think you can see the idea that the manager wants to play with. Jesse March wants to play proper attacking football, high pressing, but also, play a bit of a defensive block when needed. He's signing too many American players. I think he signed like maybe 2 or 3 American players. Also, Brentford, I think they're going to do just enough because they have signed Ben Mee. And I think as long as you have Ben Mee in your defense, I think you'll be okay. So, yeah, Everton could be in big trouble, guys.
Yeah, you're right, man. And I just got the two mixed up, McNeil and me. In terms of
Oh,
McNeil, yeah, in terms of McNeil, when I saw that transfer go through, I was thinking 20 million. Man,
That's a lot of
loving
money.
it.
Yeah.
They're loving it, Burnley, isn't it?
Okay. What's gonna be the next stage? Should we talk about the top 4 finishes or top 6?
Do top 6.
I say top 6. Yeah.
Okay,
Smash
Nathan, go for your
Go
top
for
6.
it, man. Straight in.
So I
Straight
just
in.
reel them off in order from. I'll do like 6th to 1st.
Yeah,
Go for that.
Yeah.
Go for it,
Alright,
man.
so I have been sort of flip flopping between the two teams, but I think at the minute, with the transfer business done and there's still uncertainty around players and sort of aspects of the club, I've got Man United at 6th at the minute. Mainly because I look at the other teams in the top 5, and I'm sort of sat there thinking to myself, like, as much as like with Arsenal, I don't believe in their manager a lot. Like, I think collectively, they've just got in midfield, this literally what done based on like United will be going into another season potentially with McTominay and Fred, and if they don't sort that out, it's going to really, really hinder them. And people can be like, oh, but they finished second under that midfield under Ollie and this, that, and the other. But there are mitigating circumstances to that. Fans not being there, this, that, and the other. Yeah, I've got Man United 6th, but however, I think what you might see this season is just sort of just signs of where the squad could be. A bit like under Klopp, when he was there from November onwards until the end of the season. When he joined Liverpool, it was like you'll see where the team needs to be and what needs to happen. So it's sort of like you're just weeding out the weak links sort of thing under Ten Hag, and eventually he will get it right. But I've got Man United 6th. I've got Arsenal 5th. Again, it's just with all these players they've signed, Jesus is a much better striker than Lacazette, so that might give them the goals to actually get into the top 4. But I just think it's when you get to games like, say, last season, like the North London derby or Newcastle, it's those crunch games where I think Arteta's down wanting a bit in terms of where his team should be. I've got Chelsea 4th, Tottenham 3rd, but I think Tottenham are more of a certainty for top 4 than Chelsea at the minute, I think, in terms of, where they finished last season. And also Chelsea have got that thing where there's always an implosion waiting to happen at Chelsea as well. We've seen it over the past decade or so. Chelsea have got that sort of, if one thing goes wrong, it's all going to go wrong sort of scenario. Like you saw with Lukaku last season, when all the stuff happened with him behind the scenes, it really damaged their team. When they lose the wing backs, it really damaged them as well. I've got Liverpool 2nd, City 1st, but it's not going to be as close as last year. I think Mane is going to be the big miss for Liverpool. I think in terms of how close they finished to Man City. And you got to remember as well, right? The only reason why the title race went as close as it did is because Man City were dropping points. Not that Liverpool went on obviously Liverpool have to do their job as the other team to sort of keep pace with them if the other team drops, but it weren't like it was all Liverpool. It was majority down to Man City dropping points. So yeah, that's my top 6 then. I've gone United, Arsenal, United 6th, Arsenal 5th, Chelsea 4th, Tottenham 3rd, Liverpool 2nd, Man City 1st. And 7th place, there's the last European place. I've got it as
the Everton position.
Yeah, the old Everton position. They've got a 1 in front of that 7.
The old
anyway,
one.
But,
Yeah.
7th place, I've gone for.
It has to be West Ham.
No, I went Leicester.
I think Leicester will finish bottom 10 actually.
But yeah, so that's my top 7.
Yeah. Okay. Where do you just a quick one? If you can recap this just quickly, where do you see Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa finishing?
Top 10.
Top 10, yeah. Where do you see Brighton finishing?
I had them 12. I think they're just one of those teams, a bit like Palace, where they'll show signs of good football, whatnot, but ultimately they just won't achieve anything. They won't. They're no disrespect to any Brighton or Palace fans. You're just there. You know what I mean? You're not gonna like you're not going to win the league. You're not going to get relegated.
Yeah.
You're just
They're
there.
just going to be comfortable, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Comfortable. Yeah. Right. Okay. So that's your top 7 sort of like, so Leicester to finish in 7th position, which to be honest with you, I don't see that happening with the injuries and the lack of signings and conceding goals from corners, like just for fun. They can't defend the set piece to save their lives, so I don't know how they're gonna finish 7th. But West Ham, I do honestly believe that they'll finish. I think they will try their best to finish in the top 6, but they will just fall short, just like they did last season. But to rule them out just before a ball is kicked, I think that could be a mistake from your side, Nathan. But let's see, Trey, go on.
Yeah. What do you want first? First or 6th?
Start from the 6th, and then we just walk away from there. Or actually, start from the 7th.
7th, yeah. Ooh. All right, so 7th for me is a comfortable one. I'm looking at West Ham. I reckon West Ham they've taken Everton's position in that sort of 7th position. They're always gonna be the team that's gonna try break into the top 6, but they're just behind. But in terms of the signings that they've made, you got to give it to David Moyes, man. Like there's always been that myth that he plays Football Manager, and you just see these signings that he pulls out the bag, and you're just like, this guy, is he playing Football Manager or something, man? I'm seeing him get players that you see reports about that you're probably looking at them at other leagues, and then bang,
yeah.
Like, look who they just signed the other day, the Italian boy.
It's Kamanka, yeah. Very good striker,
Oh man, like
he might not score a lot of goals, but he will wear defenders down. Yeah. I'm actually not looking forward. He's 6'4", 6'5", maybe 6'7".
Yeah, he's crazy high.
Can you imagine him against Lisandro Martinez? Goodness me, I don't even want to imagine.
That's gonna be.
That old height thing's a myth. It doesn't matter about height as long as you get yourself in the right position. Because Martinez had Haaland and Nunes in his pocket last season, so the whole
No, it's true. He is.
But I think there are some players. Yeah, imagine Lisandro Martinez against Peter Crouch or Andy Carroll. Can you just imagine that?
Yeah, man. But I'm sure Martinez. He's a smart player.
But that's why you have to look after him, and basically defend. All right, okay, yeah, go on. Yeah, who's your 6th position?
6th. I've gone with Arsenal, man. I've gone in Arsenal.
Really? Oh my God, I'm surprised with that.
No, I'm not surprised at all, man. I'm not surprised at all. The reason why I'm going for it is because look, this season is going to be a little bit different now with the European fixture in place as well. Europa League is going to be a fixture that they have to fit into their schedule. Remember last year they didn't have any European football last season, so they were free, to.
So you think that the injuries might cause them issues, not lack of ability?
I'm saying the right squad depth. I'm saying also the experience in the manager. Obviously, Nathan did mention it. Obviously, before we started this pod properly, but he obviously mentioned it during the pod as well. That for me, Arteta as a manager, I feel that there's certain games that you sort of see the mistakes that he's making from a tactical perspective, but also an experience perspective as well. Right. I feel that you need to, like someone like Vieira, for example, when Crystal Palace played Arsenal in the Emirates, and you saw there it was Vieira took that match very seriously in a sense, both strategically on the pitch, and you could just tell that he wanted that game. For me, I think he should have, if he was the manager of Arsenal right now, I'll put them in more of a sort of higher position. I just feel that managerial experience and also squad depth, and now that you've got a European fixture into your sort of fixture list, that's also going to play a part, in my opinion. 5th, I've gone with, this is going to be a bit of a controversial one, and this is my thoughts. I think Spurs are going to get 5th, man.
I thought you were going to say Liverpool then.
No. I thought he was going to say Chelsea. You know that?
No.
Wow, you think Antonio Conte is going to finish 5th?
I don't think it's because of him. I don't think it's because of him, man. I genuinely think that now with sort of it's the same sort of scenario. You know,
Mm,
they've now got Champions League football now to also add into their fixture list as well. I know they've got Conte. I'm a massive fan of his, but I just feel that Spurs they've got certain players that in certain games you need certain players to step up, and I don't think it's going to be enough time for Conte to fully integrate something to do good in a marathon in the league. But I don't disregard them from possibly winning an FA Cup or a League Cup, though. I don't disregard them from doing it. But I just feel that in terms of the league, the marathon, it's a little bit different when you've got also Champions League football. So I've gone with Spurs to be fifth.
yeah.
Fourth, this is another controversial one, but look, I'm going for it. I don't have any expectations, but I'm going by look. This is our target, so I'm going for United to get into that top four position. I reckon in terms of if we get the players that we need in terms of another midfielder and another attacker, we've got a lot of players in the squad right now that they've got a point to prove. It's make or break,
Right.
man. They've got players like Martial. He's got a point to prove. What did he score last year across two leagues? One goal. You don't think in his mind. You don't think in his mind. He's thinking like, man, like I got to take this opportunity. And I think like now that we've got an actual proper manager now to enforce something, to put something in place, I definitely feel that that's a realistic target for us, and I think we can do it based on with a bit of luck, with a bit of results, not relying on us, but based on what's going on around us that can help us throughout the league. I reckon Chelsea are going to get the third spot. As much as people are going to say that the signings, they missed out on a few players. Chelsea, for me, they've signed good in getting Koulibaly. If they complete this Fofana deal as well,
Yeah.
Thiago Silva at the back. Yeah, they've missed out on a few players, but they've still got a solid foundation. They've still got players breaking through in the ranks. So I reckon they're gonna be third. Second, I am gonna go for Liverpool. I think that this season we're gonna see, even though on paper, this I'm gonna just point out that on paper Liverpool are still Liverpool, but in terms of the team that they potentially could have at the start of the season, it could be a little bit weaker because obviously Mane's left, and I'm also hearing talks that Firmino could possibly go to Juventus, and seeing a potential Klopp team without a Firmino and a Mane not in their team as well. Yes, they've got Nunes, but in his first season, is he going to come and do the numbers that Mane has been producing on a consistent basis? You can't put the pressure on the boy, but unfortunately, he's coming in with a big price tag. So to Liverpool fans, they're going to feel our pain in terms of having a player that's signed for a huge fee that's going to be playing under those sort of conditions, and it's going to be a tough season for the kid. I think he's a talented boy, but we're going to really see if he's got the character to hold that heavy price tag. And I just think City are just going to run away with the title. They're exactly the same team. They've even City squad depth. Sell it. There used to be a rule back in the days where if you've got certain players, you're not selling them to your, let's say, competitors. Let's say you're not selling them to Chelsea, Sterling. You're not selling them to Arsenal because they're in the same league. But because they've got such a big squad depth, it's not going to affect them much. They can do it, and they've done good business as well. So Pep, I think he's going to get another league. I don't want him to do it as well because that would be four leagues in a row. No one's done four leagues in a row, right? Correct me
No,
if
it'd be
I'm wrong.
three.
No, it'll be three.
Would it
It'd
be
be
three?
three.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, thank God, thank God. Because if it was four, man, but
Oh, they're gonna do the fourth and the fifth in a way, so
yeah,
it's
yeah,
gonna
but
be like the Bundesliga
it's
and the
gonna be
French
like
league.
that. So, but they're
As
gonna
long
run
as
away
Pep
with
is
it.
there.
They're gonna run away with it.
As long as
So
they don't lift that big European one, everyone's fine.
that's it. That's
Like
it. That's
everyone knows the scenario what has to happen. It's like, oh, okay, right. City win the league. That means Liverpool don't win it, but then City don't win the Champions League. That's how people cope. You know
Yeah,
what
I
I
mean,
mean?
the last two seasons have actually been like, we got towards the May, like 20th of May, and like, it's biting our nails, so nervous because we were thinking like, oh my God, Liverpool are gonna win the Champions League, and City are gonna win the Premier League, and then there was a season where we thought City are gonna win everything, the quadruple, and then they lost the
Oh,
FA Cup
same
final
like last
to.
season. Everyone, like
Every
everyone in the media,
season.
everyone in the media were like absolutely like wetting themselves giddy because Liverpool were on for the quadruple, and they
Yeah,
literally achieved the same success as Arsenal did in 93, 94, winning the FA Cup and League Cup. So it's like, congratulations, lads, you've literally equaled George Graham. So
yeah,
congratulations to them. But
yeah.
anyway,
That's my
All
list.
right. Okay. So, I think Trey, you have made some interesting choices. I am a little bit surprised about you having United in your top four because you look at the squad depth. You talked about the squad depth of Arsenal, and also you referenced the manager. The lack of experience from the manager could actually cause them some problems. But if you look at Eric Ten Hag, he doesn't have much experience in the Premier League. It's his first season at United. He's not going to have, let's say there's an injury to Martial or Rashford, or God forbid, or either of them. There's literally Anthony Elanga there and maybe Charlie McNeil from the academy. That's all they have because Ronaldo is going to be leaving. Is that his name, right? Charlie McNeil?
yeah, but you also got Garnacho as well.
Yeah,
Garnacho.
Garnacho, who's 17 years old. Yeah, or Bruno Fernandes is going to play as a striking, as a centre forward. So the options are very limited that Eric Ten Hag has. So I'm a little bit surprised that you have them in your top four. But that's your predictions. You're going to have to deal with it later when we go back, and you'll be proved wrong.
Yeah, to be honest, like, look, I do these predictions just to, I don't. To be honest,
But you know what I'm
I
more
couldn't care
surprised
less.
about? What I'm more surprised about is you having Tottenham out of your top four. I mean, I know that they're going to be in the Champions League, but this is Antonio Conte we're talking about.
Yeah.
You give Antonio Conte 10 Woods and Harry Kane, and he will win you the league. That's Antonio Conte for you. I mean, the guy is incredible. He's incredible. Okay, so let me tell you about my prediction, guys. Yeah.
Go for it.
When I was going through the table, I saw 4 different league tables. Actually, I saw 4 different leagues. I saw the bottom 5, which is obviously Bournemouth, your Fulhams, your Bournemouths, your Brentford, your Leeds, and your Everton, and your Southampton. Yeah. Then you have your sort of like okay, but just gonna survive Crystal Palace, Brighton.
Teams are just there. Do you know what I mean? Teams that just
they're just there, like Aston Villa, Wolverhampton,
But
Leicester City.
let me
Like,
let me interject. Let me interject.
Yeah.
So, and it sort of just goes back to what you're both saying about teams just being there. Crystal Palace, Brighton. Obviously, I know Brighton fan personally, and I know Palace fan personally, and I feel that Brighton they're the better team out of both of them anyway, in my opinion.
But that's what I was gonna get to. So what I'm saying is, yeah, I think that teams like Leicester City, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Wolverhampton are gonna really struggle, but they're gonna be okay around March time. They're not gonna be in any relegation fight. But I think the team that's properly just gonna relax for the whole season is gonna be Brighton. I really think that they're the best team out of, I would say, the 13 teams that's left. So you got your top 7 from West Ham all the way to City, and then you have from Brighton, who I'm a bit surprised because I would have thought Leicester City would be the best out of the bunch that's left out of the 13. But I think the lack of signings, them losing their main goalkeeper after so many years, I think he's gonna go to somewhere in France, or he might even go to in Italy. He might go to Napoli. So there's a lot of rumors about Kasper Schmeichel going about. So I think they're going to struggle, and I think they're going to sack Brendan Rodgers. I think he's going to get sacked after 10 games, honestly, because they're going to really struggle. Because this season is when you really need your substitutions. You're going to have 5 subs. This is the only team in the top 7 leagues in Europe who hasn't signed a single player, guys. Just remember that. Not a single player signed for the whole, and they're about to lose their captain, a player who has had so many experiences for them. Jamie Vardy is getting old with age, so the only replacement they have for him is Iheanacho and Daka, and on the other side, so they don't even have a right winger. That is why I really think they're going to struggle. There's no right wing for them. It's a terrible. Leicester City, I'm really worried for them. Okay, West Ham is going to finish 7th. My team to finish 6th is going to be Man United, just like Nathan Best said, because I think that they're going to really struggle if Ronaldo is not there. But then if Ronaldo is there, I can see them getting top 4 because then you have options. But if Ronaldo really does leave, and I have to make this clear, just in case we go back to these predictions later, if Ronaldo does leave, United are going to finish 6th comfortably. But if he's still there, then I can see them finishing 4th. But let's work on the basis that he's not going to be next season, because the chances of him not being there next season, for me, are like 80% to 20. Okay? Yeah. Then you have the team that's going to finish 5th. I think is Arsenal. I think my prediction is just like Nathan, really. I agree with Nathan about the top 6.
To be honest, like I'm going to keep it 100 with you guys. Both your guys' prediction is absolutely spot on, in my opinion. I just wanted to throw a little twister.
He just wanted United in the top 4, didn't he?
I just want it to happen. Yeah. I don't even care, man. I don't even care, because I think that it should be a target. I want to make a sort of like. Can I flip it actually? Can I flip it?
Yeah, go on.
It should be a target for us, like top 4. It has to be a target this season.
Oh yeah. I mean,
we have to. We must.
I'm sure the target of the season is to finish the top 4 and at least win a trophy. That's the target for United, anyways. But it doesn't mean that they're gonna get top 4 if Ronaldo does leave. But I do have sort of like a surprise for a team that's gonna really challenge for the title this season, and I think that's gonna be Tottenham. I think Spurs will really challenge. I think they have the capability to beat the big teams like Liverpool and City. I honestly believe that Antonio Conte can go to Anfield, get 3 points from there, or maybe get a point, go to Etihad, get a win from there, go to United, get a win from there, go to Arsenal, absolutely demolish them, go to Chelsea, maybe lose to Chelsea because they always lose to Chelsea anyway. Tottenham, they're just terrible against Chelsea for some reason. I think they're gonna really go for it this season. I'm so excited about Tottenham and to see what they're about to do.
I can't lie. I got to agree with you in terms of Spurs being a team that's going to be a shocker for a lot of people. Definitely. Look, Conte is a manager that, we've probably said this in pods in the past. He is a manager definitely in terms of a profile, in terms of bringing in energy, intensity. But we knew at the time that when we've got sort of these owners, Ed Woodward, these guys, Conte, wouldn't have been able to enforce certain things that he's enforced right now. That's why it's going to be interesting to see what he can do with this Spurs team. But let me throw a little twister on you here, Mr. Philosophy.
Yeah.
What if Bayern gets Kane?
Oh
no chance. No chance.
I think Kane's window's been and gone to go. To be honest, I think
there's no chance of him moving this summer. Maybe next summer. Yes, I can see that.
So you reckon?
I don't know. No, I think Kane's window's gone. I generally, I think Kane now. If Tottenham, see the thing is, people talk about success with Tottenham. Is it challenging? Is it getting top 4 or this and the other? If they get top 4, it's technically not success with Tottenham. They just need to put some actual silverware into their into the cabinet.
But if you remember this, Nathan, he's got 2 years left on his contract. So next year, this time, let's say Tottenham implode and they don't win anything, or they don't finish the top 4, or Antonio Conte gets sacked. He could go to Daniel Levy and say, listen, in a year's time, I'm going to work for free. So you might as well sell me right now for like 60 million, and he's going to go to Bayern, because Bayern, depending on how the season is going to go next season, I think they'll be happy to have him.
They want to strike him.
Well, I think Bayern might do a thing where, they're in for they're linked with Ronaldo as well, right? And obviously, you say they need a striker and stuff like that, but Nagelsmann might sort of flip the script and sort of have a bit like how, say, I'm not saying same level of ability, but in terms of how it seems like Man United are going into the season with Sancho, Rashford, Martial, you don't have a recognised number 9, but you have 3 forwards who will get you the goals. Obviously, Mane's numbers will increase in the Bundesliga because it's the left aquatic league.
Yeah, he can play up front as well.
So, because they've got like Gnabry, Coman, Sane, Mane.
I forgot. Yeah, you're
every
and
bloody man
Musiala and Thomas Muller.
Musiala. And what you said in the last pod that they signed Gravenberch, yeah?
Yeah,
Gravenberch, Mazraoui, Goretzka, Kimmich.
Hell, they are dead.
Crazy,
They're just laughing right
team.
now.
Okay, guys, listen, we've got only a few more minutes left here.
Yeah.
That was actually, great prediction, guys. Let's see how the season is.
Who did you have to win the league, by the way? You didn't say. Who did you have to win the league? You didn't say. Yeah. You didn't say like the top two.
Yeah, he's got Spurs City.
Nathan, I said I agree with you.
Yeah, he said he agrees with you. But he's saying the surprise sort of team that could, challenge is Spurs.
Yeah, but you see how they've won the title so comfortably, or I would say those two really challenged so comfortably without anybody challenging them, which always going to be Chelsea. I think it's going to be Tottenham really pushing them, but I think they're just going to come short. And City are going to win, obviously, disappointingly. But I would rather see City winning than Liverpool. Okay. My next point is going to be, guys. Okay, that's the predictions done. Just to finish the pod, I want to make a plea to Cristiano Ronaldo. Just if he can watch this. Actually, it's both to United and Ronaldo. Guys, please terminate the contract. Let's both shake hands. Say thank you, Ronaldo. Say thank you, Man United. Let's call it a day. Ronaldo, please don't think about money right now. This is not the time to think about money. You have enough money. Go back to Sporting Lisbon. Finish on a romantic story. Score maybe 6 more goals in the Champions League. Extend that record. Or actually go to Borussia Dortmund. The Sebastian Haller is gonna be, he's sick. He can't play football. Maybe he'll be off for a few months. Just earn like maybe 100 grand a week. You don't need the money. Go to a club like Borussia Dortmund, who's still actually in the Champions League, and actually win them the Bundesliga and make Bayern regret not signing you. Imagine that. Think about that.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. What are you going to say to that, Mr. Bestie?
Well, I had a bit of a different plea.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
For any fans watching this, whatnot, who obviously been monitoring the De Jong situation. We'll leave a link in the description for a GoFundMe to help Barcelona pay his wage. So hopefully we get 17 million views on this podcast, and then we can literally sort of help him. We can give them the 17 million so De Jong can come to United. But my sort of thing on Ronaldo is that, like, realistically, I think there was always murmurs and rumours that he wanted to leave at the end of the season anyway. It was all like coming out at the end of the season, not just now, it's like literally when the season finished. But it's like, obviously, if you have personal circumstances which have been reported in your family life, fair enough. But I think this message should have been communicated far earlier, because you got a new manager in now who needs a clean hit at it. Do you know what I mean? Because we've seen over the last few years what a player staying at a club against his will, or who doesn't want to be here, can do to the dressing room or the atmosphere. You look at Pogba, with the whole situation with him.
Yep.
And what we'll say is that United just need to sort of. But the thing is, right, this is what's actually confused me, is that Ronaldo's so adamant to leave, but like every club is ruling themselves out of a move for him.
Yeah.
That's because it's too expensive, and you have to change your entire style to suit him.
Yeah, it's not just that though. It's like people like I think he's got it in his head that like, there's gonna be like a sort of a rush of offers and this, that, and the other. But it's like, and United's like, there's difference here. United's public stance. The reason why it's called a public stance is obviously as soon as they say something in public, it gets admitted to the shareholders, stockholders, this, that, and the other. So it's a business thing. Behind the scenes, they're probably going, okay, yeah, we'll sell you, but we want to get sort of like, say, 15 million back, which is all right. Which is all right, fair enough. You're entitled to getting the money back since he's still got a year left in his contract. However, like, Oliver Kahn's turned around and said that, as much as Ronaldo is a great player, we're not interested in a minute. He was linked with Barcelona, but if they buy Ronaldo and Lewandowski, then something's up. There is something seriously wrong if they get him Manchester.
Yeah.
Real Madrid arguably don't need him.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah.
Benzema, it just produces season of his life.
Yeah.
No, they
And
don't
in
really
a
need
couple of
him.
years' time, when Haaland's release clause kicks in at Man City, they're going to be sniffing around as well.
Yeah.
The one club I actually wanted to see him go to, just for like a really, really fun purpose, and because it'd be so funny to watch from a tactical standpoint, just go PSG, right? Where you'll have
he's gonna ruin FIFA, man. He'll ruin EA.
In that front four, minus Mbappe to a certain extent, that front four is going to be so static, right? In terms of energy, this, that, and the other. But in that league, it'll be so fun to watch.
Oh man,
It will literally be like you playing.
Who's gonna take the penalties? Who's gonna take the free
10-0,
kicks?
man. There's gonna be 10-0.
If like you play Football Manager and you sign in a player who's like 2 leagues above where you're at the minute, and he bags like 40 goals in half an hour. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it'll be crazy.
Yeah, he should go. I reckon he should go PSG. It'd be pretty funny.
Yeah, I honestly think that, you know what, just do the right thing. Just go enjoy your football, because we all know what Ronaldo cares about, and that's to extend the Champions League record that he's got. He's right now, I think he's ahead of Messi about 15 goals or maybe something like that. So if you can just score maybe 6 more goals, 1 goal each in the group stages, play your 6 games there in Sporting Lisbon, or like I said, Borussia Dortmund, and just take it and buy in the space, and just be like, listen, you refuse to sign me, and guess what? Now I'm actually gonna win these guys the league title. Because if you think about it, like, have you guys seen how Dybala was welcomed by the Roma fans?
Yeah, I saw it, man.
Can you imagine Ronaldo being welcomed by the yellow wall?
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's gonna be amazing. So if I was Ronaldo's position, honestly, I would reduce my wages massively just to have the chance to play for a big club like that, man. Like with huge.
It's not about wage, though. It's not about wage. Sorry to interrupt. It's not about wage. He's rejected that £300 million offer from Saudi Arabia to go play there for 2 years.
No. I don't mean that he's only talking about the money. I'm talking about Ronaldo.
Football.
He wants to have it all. I'm saying to Ronaldo, make a compromise. You can't have Champions League football and actually wanting to be on 450,000 a week, and when you're 30, when you're gonna be 38 years next season. Come on, man.
No, you're 100% right, bro, man.
You have to make a compromise.
100%.
I feel like if he goes to a club like Borussia Dortmund, the way they're gonna walk him in, oh my God, he's gonna be mad. Or, he might even go back to to Sporting Lisbon, which is where he all started from, and then have one season there, then go to the US, and just that is actually if he's allowed to go there. So
he joins Rooney at DC United.
Oh God, that would be crazy.
Yeah, and then he sees Lingard in the dressing room and thinks, "Oh fuck!"
I left you at United, and now you're.
No.
Yeah, man.
All right, guys, let's call it a day. Thank you so much. Do you have any more points to add?
You know what? My simple plea to the fans is just very simple. I don't know if you guys could hear this. Just let me know.
Oh God! Oh, for God's sake, not again.
All I'm saying is the reason why I keep playing that song is because Ten Hag 316. You know what it stands for?
What?
It stands for
I just whipped your ass, something like that. Like
I whipped your ass.
Yeah.
I whipped your ass, but also it just stands for change, meaning that he's gonna bring change to the club, the change that we needed, the change that as a club and as fans we need to back this man to the end. I feel that we've seen bits and bobs during pre-season. It's nothing, we can't, take nothing from it. But from what I've seen, I definitely see the project within this few years. I just have a plea to the club to just back the man like they backed Oli. And that's my plea to the club.
And free De Jong.
Oh, you know what? I would love De Jong. Look, we're in quite a few groups, and I'll say this before I go. If Manchester United sign De Jong, expect me to spam the groups, man. Honestly, the amount of crap, no, the amount of stuff that I've seen from rival fans, I'm just thinking, mate, like it's not Manchester United's fault that the player's not signed, man. The guy owes his old wages, man. So look, respect
All right,
the man.
guys, thank you so much for joining me.
Adios.
Listeners, thank you. Also, you guys are absolute stars for joining us. And yeah, so until next week,
We've
take
put an
care.
hour shift there.
That's it. Yeah, proper shifts, bro.
Proper.